All right, everybody, welcome back. This is the end of the world. Michael and Stu.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Stu. And today we are talking about the 2023 masterpiece. That's right. Mm-hmm. It's Oppenheimer.
Finally. Sort of stunning to have made it this far.
Yeah, I mean, it came out pretty close to when we started doing the pod, and I think that was part of the reason we didn't do it right away. Like, maybe people were still undergoing Oppenheimer fatigue at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But
what was it called? Barbenheimer?
Barbenheimer, yes. The greatest moment in any of our lives.
True rebirth of culture, I would say.
I would say world history altering moment for America and indeed for civilization itself. So we've had a lot of trouble, technical difficulties getting the recording started today. Michael's in England for possibly the last time that we're recording.
Yeah, I'll be back next week.
Yeah, so that'll be good.
Back stateside, assuming I can get in with the blizzard.
And, yeah, I've been stuck indoors teaching over Zoom thanks to the blizzard that arrived very dramatically last night, and not as bad as the last blizzard. I mean, more snow, but temperatures look to be heading back to above freezing starting maybe even tomorrow, which indicates that
outside today at all, or?
I did go outside just before recording between my last Zoom class and this, and it's the snow's already melting. Like, and it's not like the deadly thing about the last blizzard, of course, was that it stayed sub 32 Fahrenheit 0C for
well south of 32. Felt like
for like a month. And even when it would like melt a little, that just revealed new deadly layers of ice for me to slip on and almost die. But happily, I avoided that fate.
Yeah.
Still here, but for how long? Anyway, before we get into Oppenheimer, which we both seen before, did you see it in the theater?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did Barbenheimer.
Wow.
I went to, but I think we did it on back-to-back days.
Doesn't count.
No, I don't think so.
You've been stripped of the Barbenheimer title. I'm afraid it was
certainly
back-to-back showings.
I would never have been able to watch both of those movies at once. Although I will say, I think if I had to choose, I think I had more fun with the Barbie movie. I'm not going to lie.
All right. Well, it's good that you're not going to lie.
Have you seen Barbie yet?
I have not. But
we'll get there as well.
I know.
It's definitely great fodder for the pod. So we won't talk about it this time. But yeah, that's when I saw them back-to-back days. Yeah.
I saw it in the theater soon after release and enjoyed it. Watching it again, less so. But we'll discuss. Before we get into that, however, our friend Sam Altman is back.
Our own Oppenheimer, in many ways.
Possibly.
I mean, he certainly seems fairly comfortable with being destroyer of worlds. I'll say that much.
Yeah, that's not something he's opposed to, it would seem.
He's not willing to make a firm opposition to the destruction of humanity.
Yeah. He's not as bad as Peter Thiel slipping over that question from Ross Douthat, though.
Yeah, I mean, this is just, well, should we introduce what we're...
Yeah, please.
Because this will be quick. We'll get to Oppenheimer, but just talking a little bit about the recent clip that emerged of Altman, like trying to explain again with these sort of like stupid, like intuitive or counterintuitive fucking takes that all of these people have under the guise of like brilliance, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Just sort of a slightly different way of looking at the world, you know? And we're realizing, I think, like they are going to start to run into more and more just incredibly negative PR because, you know, I don't want to get off on too big of a thing here, but it's interesting, the sort of personality types, right? That like they're really not good at PR and being the actual front-facing people. I mean, the insane stuff that like comes out of Musk's mouth, right?
Yeah.
On a daily basis. And this guy's a great example. It's like their egos are so big that who else? Like, right? Of course they're going to be the person talking about it all the time. Of course they're going to be front facing. They're the visionaries behind the whole thing. And then they say things that like this one was a clip about that basically compared
Why don't you play
AI.
the clip?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's start there. Okay. Okay, one sec.
That is always unfair in this comparison is people talk about how much energy it takes to train an AI model relative to how much it costs a human to do one inference query. But it also takes a lot of energy to train a human. It takes like 20 years of life and all of the food you eat during that time before you get smart. And not only that, it took like the very widespread evolution of the 100 billion people that have ever lived and learned not to get eaten by predators and learned how to like figure out science and whatever to produce you. And then you took whatever you took. So the fair comparison is if you ask ChatGPT a question, how much energy does it take once its model is trained to answer that question versus a human? And probably AI has already caught up on an energy efficiency basis measured that way.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, Stu, I know you've heard this, right?
Yeah.
Like the classic thing of like, I have actually found an incredibly grotesque way of that proves my point.
I've used Evo Psych to justify my inhuman robot's dominance of life.
But you know what people never think about? They never think about how humans have to eat. That's not very fair to AI. Like, I mean, these are the words of somebody who it'd be impossible to get me to believe he cares at all about the human
this
race,
is a psychopath.
right?
This is a crazy
It feels
person.
like, right?
Yeah.
But like, do you agree that like they are going to run into potentially the sort of more opposition unless they like they don't seem to even care about how they roll this out. They basically it's either stuff like this or like, hey, no offense, but there's going to be no jobs for a minute. Good luck. Like it's the weirdest like
I would
PR
compare it a little bit to the MAGA psychology of like not even bothering to sell military incursions, right? It's like,
Sure.
oh, we're going to war with Iran. Why? Who cares? We want to, right? It's the same kind of like, these people can't stop us. Why pretend that there's some kind of democratic feedback that's going to influence or shape our behavior when we can just buy off any politicians that get in our way and so forth.
It's also what's so weird about it. It's like, okay, so like and frightening, kind of using that, like jumping off that example, is like, yeah, you have to care so little about the people in this equation of yours because it implies that like there might be a time down the road, like he admits that there are ways that this could go very badly. He is one of those guys, right?
Sure.
Oh no. Is he imagining a situation where the wheels have come off and we sort of look at each other like, well, to be fair, we've been eating food this whole time, maybe.
Oh, you know what? My poverty is okay because hundreds of thousands of years of evolution happened to make me real. It's kind of
I was eating, I'm going to be honest too. I ate every day and I'm just going to show myself out now.
It reminds me also of my crime is justified because I'm going to do so much good with the earnings of that crime.
That's right.
Good stuff. Good stuff. So, Oppenheimer, as we said, both saw it in theaters, saw it again. Little long was my take.
Extremely long.
The movie is about J. Robert Oppenheimer, the leader of the Manhattan Project, the effort to create the first atomic bomb, obviously. But it's
It's sort of
actually
the OG attempt to destroy the entire planet.
well, the dice roll, right?
Yeah,
That's a theme. The idea that, oh, will this ignite the atmosphere? It's a marginal percentage chance that happens. But it's really a movie about two types of people, right? It's about Oppenheimer, the impractical big dreamer who doesn't really get his hands dirty, versus Louis Strauss, the ambitious striver. They're both Jewish. They both sort of came up in the early 20th century, took opposite paths. I mean, related, but opposite paths. Strauss working in business, eventually for the government, in the military, long career as a civil servant. Oppenheimer, a scientist, into modernism, kind of queer-coded, but also a huge ladies' man, right? like reading T.S. Eliot alone in his dorm in Cambridge or whatever, admiring the radical vision of Picasso, right? Strauss, we imagine, was just selling shoes while all that was happening, right? And the movie is just actually about the antipathy between these two guys, particularly Strauss's deep personal hatred of Oppenheimer for slights both real and imagined.
Right.
And Oppenheimer, by contrast, another division I sensed in this movie is it's about the difference between theory and practice, right? So Oppenheimer is a theoretical physicist. He is, like Einstein, not great at math. He relies on his students and associates to do the assembly of the cyclotron that will split the atom and he delegates all the material aspects of the Manhattan Project so that he can focus on the big picture, right?
Right.
And Strauss,
also, it's because he's sort of placed in the ultimate strained situation where he's been given the ability to go to the limits of his theoretical powers while in an incredibly dangerous and complicated applied scenario.
That's right. So
makes you think it should be a little bit better of a movie than it is. But anyways, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. So the movie opens, it has the classic Christopher Nolan, multiple timelines intersecting, cutting back and forth. It's not a linear biopic, certainly. And it's also begins with Oppenheimer's downfall, interestingly, right? I mean, one of the first things we see is him being grilled at this meeting to reestablish his security clearance, where...
Yeah, what's the actual backstory to that? Do you know?
The movie's pretty accurate. Basically, Oppenheimer was not overtly opposed, but questioned the utility of creating the hydrogen bomb, which Teller, who's another one of the scientists in the movie, the one scientist Oppenheimer's wife really hates. He was the big proponent of moving forward with the super, as they call it. That's real. Oppenheimer's past fellow traveler status, his association with other communists. He was never himself a member of the Communist Party. He was friends with a lot of communists, and in the case of Jean Tatlock, was a Jungian psychoanalyst communist that he had a 6 or 7 year affair with. So that all was in the rush to build the bomb to defeat the Nazis. That was all whatever, we trust you. It's not a problem. We see that.
And despite that, he gets the gig because of his brilliance, essentially?
Because he has
his ability to delegate?
Because he has the theoretical background and the charisma. He can encourage and help the other people along while also actually knowing what the fuck he's talking about, right? Which is,
Well, do you know any of the history? Like, was there anybody else who was considered for the top role?
I don't off the
Yeah.
top, but I'm sure some of the people we see, I mean, Fermi is like the guy who's running the Fermi and Zillard. But the thing is, Michael, all of these people had some kind of skeleton in their closet, right?
Sure.
Not all of it was leftism, but it's like,
Mm.
you're not going to find the perfect candidates when you need the best people. You know what I mean? The people with the perfect
Right.
biographies.
With like a ticking time of a world war.
Right. And like the irony is Hitler's, as is said in the picture, like Hitler's anti-Semitism made a lot of the best people in Europe flee. So it's like Hitler was like, well, no Jews will be in
parts of the movie.
What's that?
I think that was one of the most interesting moments of the movie for sure.
Yeah. Whereas like our anti-Semitism is our advantage, is what he tells Groves. So I'm not going to go too exhaustively through the movie because I think most people have seen it and it is very long. But the basic gist is we see Oppenheimer in Cambridge. He's unhappy. He's homesick. Thinks about poisoning his tutor, which may have happened. It's a little ambiguous. I think his rich dad came and like got him out of trouble when that was discovered, that he had put cyanide in an apple. Poison apples and British scientists. Not a great mix. The Alan Turing, the inventor of modern computer science, committed suicide by eating a poison apple many years later, partly because he'd been hounded out of the British establishment at around the same time as Oppenheimer was out of the American, in his case, for being gay, basically.
Sure.
And he was also obsessed with Snow White, and so he took the poison apple, Anyway.
Oh, I totally blanked. I was like, he got pushed out of the establishment because he really liked Snow White?
No, it's because he was gay. But so, yes. Eventually, we see him meeting Niels Bohr and Heisenberg. We're to understand, reading modernist literature, looking at we're to understand he's a worldly guy.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Then he gets to Berkeley, which is where much of the film is set. He's very into unionizing efforts, meeting with, his peers from other universities. And he is, like, Cillian Murphy is very good. He really does look like Oppenheimer. It's impressive, and his mannerisms are...
A lot of the acting is fantastic in this movie.
Yeah, and I mean, I think
it's better than the movie, I find.
I think the structure of the movie is really good, too. Like, I like that it keeps moving back and forth, but it's just so long. It's like...
I didn't like that part. I mean, I think we talked about this a little bit before, but for me, what it just came down to is like, there's enough at stake and there's enough going on.
Right.
That I certainly not need the hearing. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I do
the
not
Oppenheimer hearing, or...
Yes. Like,
so
to me,
the movie's kind of framed by these two hearings. Oppenheimer being grilled in 1954, trying to get his AEC, Atomic Energy Commission job reinstated. And then 1958, Louis Strauss trying to be confirmed in the cabinet. So there's like a real courtroom barricade on either
just like, to me,
framing.
It just feels like it's such a fundamental departure from what I would have found like exciting. And I guess that wasn't the purpose of the movie, but again, you only get, your one nuclear war movie a generation at this point, right? Like,
I guess.
And I feel like there's enough going on in the Manhattan Project and Oppenheimer's life in that period of time that I really didn't need, like, and then they turned on him, and then Strauss, we're in a courtroom, like, man, we're talking about the bomb. And there's stuff that, does kind of get glossed over, right? Like the taking over the land that they built, the, Los Alamos and all of that. I
Sure.
mean, a lot of it is kind of just sugar coated or glossed over, I guess, so they can save 45 minutes for these two different courtroom sequences to run through the movie.
Right. And they run parallel. So we're cutting between both hearings throughout the movie. I thought it was kind of interesting only in as much as it spoke to the theory and practice thing. So Oppenheimer, his relationship with communism is also a theory thing. He's theoretically a communist, but practically versus again, though, hold on. Strauss, on the other hand, is a man who's willing to play the game, even if that means getting dirty and leaking Oppenheimer's file to this crazy McCarthyite, or right. And there's like no theory, there's only personal ambition, right? It's like Oppenheimer's ambition is in the service of the theory, not, I mean, he, of course, likes being famous too, I'm sure, but it's, for Strauss, there's like no value beyond self-aggrandizement. Anyway, maybe we didn't.
But again, I think again, like that whole idea, I mean, Nolan is quite brilliant in many ways, and I think it's not that it doesn't work, because his movie is hardly a failure.
No.
I just think the choice to do this was better in theory, ironically.
There we go.
And again, like, I don't need Christopher Nolan to be the one to make the movie that's like, actually, he's a war criminal, we should remember that, But
and that's a little bit more in this than you'd think, given Christopher Nolan is an apologist for imperialist violence. It would
that's
seem,
right,
for the most part.
And I guess to me, it's just like a little bit like felt like a coping mechanism to take the edge off of what creating this did, and instead make it about the way that it was received by different elements of the American power structure and the people of America. And to me, that's like sort of obfuscating something beyond theory and practice, and like the real impact of what this did to the world and what it did after. I really still don't get a real sense of Oppenheimer in that context, even having watched the movie personally.
Sure. I feel that makes sense. So we see Oppenheimer discover New Mexico with his brother. They have a ranch. We see him meet Florence Pugh, Jean Tatlock, who he will have an affair with until she takes her own life. Or is she murdered? It's unclear. It seems like the movie thinks she took her own life. Others have suggested, maybe some of those FBI guys tailing Oppie. I mean, of course. It's like he's being tailed by the FBI constantly. Like in the 40s during the war, he's the head of the Manhattan Project.
She must know something.
Or just this is inconvenient for us. She's got to go. We also meet Ernest Lawrence, Josh Hartnett. He's back. He's a little bit more conservative, a little bit more. He doesn't like the union stuff. He's a kind of classic professor who's against grad students unionizing, of which there are so many. When I was a grad student, I couldn't be in a union, so neither should, it's like, okay, whatever. Oh my God. We see him meet Einstein a couple times.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's fun.
It's just fun.
Yeah. You gotta have Einstein in there,
You gotta have Einstein in there. It's kind of like the moment for like the, Leo on the couch pointing at the TV.
Yeah,
meme,
exactly. Exactly. Einstein at this point was, because Einstein wasn't into quantum physics. He
Mhm.
thought it was bullshit. And unfortunately for him, it was not. And so he kind of diverged from, he's like the old master, but he's like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the age of Shaq or whatever.
Sure.
It's like you're not relevant anymore, old man. Shaq is here.
Yeah. Like, your numbers are great. No one's denying your numbers.
World historical numbers, Cap.
That's right.
Anyway, we also meet Leslie Groves, the Matt Damon character, who is the guy who built the Pentagon and also did the logistics for the Manhattan Project. Very accomplished guy. A lot of these people will come back during the testimony. So we'll see the positive early interaction, and then they kind of either betray or half betray Oppenheimer.
Sure.
We meet Teller, who we talked about. Jack Quaid is there as Richard Feynman. In one scene, we see him holding up bongos, which was Feynman's trademark. He played the bongos
Oh, really?
a lot. Yeah. Feynman is cool. Like, there's a lot of clips on YouTube of his lectures, and he did a really good job of, like, making the highly difficult, complex ideas of quantum physics somewhat digestible to a popular audience. Yeah, he's a cool guy. So they're building the bomb. A lot of, exciting scenes of them putting explosives together and putting marbles in the jar to show how much plutonium has been created or uranium has been enriched. Eventually, Hitler dies, So a lot of the...
Yes, I do know.
You've heard about that? He didn't make it, Michael. Bad news. Or good news. A lot of the rationale for these people to be involved in a nuclear weapons program was Hitler was doing genocide. He was killing Jewish people. A lot of the scientists are Jewish.
And that Hitler was trying to get a bomb himself.
And also that. So it's like, once Hitler's gone, it's like, well, time to go home, right? Like, we can pack it up. Oh, no. It's a classic Frankenstein's monster, Pandora's box, It's like, can't put the monster back in the charnel house. Can't put the box lid back on. Of course, the military...
It's like the AI is inevitable, even though it's still in its early, less sophisticated form. So we soldier on. It's
a little different because AI did not emerge fully formed as a world killer, right?
Right, but like when he died, what phase was it? Was it ready to go?
Basically. I mean, they set off the bomb test 3 months later in July, right? Hitler dies end of April. So, they were there. And there's still a war on in Japan. And what's more, there's those pesky allies, the Soviets. We have this bomb that'll maybe keep them from keep going and taking France and Spain, right? I mean, in theory, the Russian army could have just kept going. I mean, we would have fought them, but they probably would have won.
Right, and it would have been extremely complicated because people were destroyed and exhausted at this point to start a whole nother war immediately.
Oh, God, yeah. I don't think the Russians wanted to do that.
No,
but, and I think once America has this doomsday weapon, they'll take a pause. All right, you know what? East Germany is good. We're here,
Yeah.
Turns out we don't want France after all. The part of the movie I found most enjoyable was the technical aspect of just watching them test the bomb. Thought that was fun.
That was great.
It's like, you know what's going to happen, but it's still tense and it's still fun in a dark way to see all these scientists, how they're all reacting to success, the joy at success, but then the
Yeah, I mean,
immediate
again, like this, and also the kind of the weird cabin fever of like being there
oh
and doing
yeah,
this same thing is enough for me that again, I feel like the focus being taken away from the moment kind of lost me a little bit.
that's fair. So then we see, Oppenheimer give his speech at the pep rally after the successful test.
Mhm.
People
I
are
really hated this
chanting,
scene.
what?
I really hated this scene.
When they're
Perhaps
like,
the most.
Oppie, Oppie, and
Yeah.
like, he
And
gives a speech.
it's a little complicated for him though. Like,
The
thanks,
world will
buddy.
remember this day. It's too soon to determine the result of the bomb, but I bet the Japanese didn't like it. It's like, okay.
Hey.
I'm so proud of what you've accomplished. I just wish we had it in time to use against the Germans. But as he's walking out, he has these visions of the bodies, he imagines the audience themselves being incinerated.
He wouldn't be a good American imperialist if he didn't also feel really bad about the incredible horrors that he perpetrated on the world.
Fair
And the
enough.
trick with him is he was already feeling it. That's what's so fascinating. And now he feels it even more. Like, ugh, I don't know. It's a little much.
Yeah. So Fuchs, eventually, one of the British scientists, turns out he was a communist and he was giving everything straight to the Russians. He goes to see Truman, and Truman is basically like, get this pussy out of here.
Scene.
Like, I dropped the bomb. No one gives a fuck who made it. I'm the one who was like, use it. What are you crying about? Hiroshima isn't about you, which is a pretty good rebuke.
Oh, I think this is the best part of the movie for me. It's my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah. So then the last 45 minutes to an hour is just the hearing.
Oh my God, yeah.
And Strauss thinks he's going to get the cabinet position, but he's going through the same kind of unfair trial that he previously put Oppenheimer through. Oh my God. This I found a little pat, right? There's an early moment in the movie where Strauss sees Einstein and Oppenheimer talking, and then Einstein walks by him and doesn't even say hi, and he assumes Oppenheimer has said something to Einstein to poison Einstein against him. And then, like, at the very end of the movie, we see their convo, and nothing could be further from the truth, right? I mean, there's just Einstein and him are talking about the consequences of the bomb. And
I honestly sort of wonder if I would have liked the movie more if it had just ended after the Truman thing.
But a good ending. Yeah.
It's just like, get some perspective. You're wrestling. You're wrestling with it.
Yeah. What about the guy who pressed the button in the plane? What about all the people?
Right.
It's like, it's a little bit, and it's an irony of that someone so interested in leftist politics would also be so narcissistic, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is one of the great paradoxes of human life. Yeah. It's just like...
Well, and the American left often.
Yeah, I mean, in particular, that. So the movie ends with Strauss getting blown up by a bunch of scientists who come in and are like, we want him out of the government entirely. This guy fucking sucks. They're like, why? Because he's not trustworthy? They're like, no, he's a bitch. He's a personal vendetta holding, backstabbing motherfucker. And he's aghast. And eventually, he loses. He doesn't get what he wants. And one thing I discovered about Strauss, though, Southern Jew, grew up in Virginia, very anti-Zionist.
Really?
And so I was like, oh, is that why he's
interesting?
Like he's tarred and feathered so brutally by Robert Downey Jr. in this movie? Is that the like hidden agenda of Oppenheimer?
Yeah.
So we can't have this this long dead, functionary from the 60s. Can't have his ideas getting out into the mainstream. It's probably a little, I'm being a little bit tongue in cheek, suffice it to say.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and of course, It is pretty funny that Strauss is so sure they were talking about him, right?
Right. And it's like we actually have other things that we think about other than you.
That's
You
right.
you
That's right.
sort of mediocre man, right?
All right. Well, that's all I had to say about Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
A good but very much overlong, and Michael hates the dueling chord structure.
It's a good movie. It's just I'm also like really I find it fascinating that it won, right?
It won everything.
The type of hype that it got, I think it deserved it. I mean, it's very well done, even though I am just like I can't really deal with the structural decisions in the last hour of the movie or whatever. I'm just like, oh, like I was like so like out. But it's an interesting type of movie to have gotten the hype, the like kickstart of the hype that it did.
Well, especially considering how ambivalent it is about American power.
Well, and how like, you know, obviously there's like the really amazing explosion, right?
Sure.
Like the one.
Yeah.
But like that's basically it.
You know? In terms of action.
Like, well, exactly. It's an interesting type of Best Picture movie in a way.
No, good point.
That then, like, conversely, like, sort of started the Oscar hype, like, in this weird pairing with Barbie. Right.
And then what won the year after was, like, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, right?
Did that win the Oscar for Best Picture?
Oh, I'm afraid so, Michael.
Yay.
And that was, you know, an action movie. I mean, it's a little bit more going on than just that, but primarily, right?
No, that was the year before.
Oh, really? So this is after?
Yeah.
Damn.
Everything, the year after was, speaking of movies that Anora won Best Picture.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen it.
You know, all due respect, I mean, Oppenheimer's far more substantial movie than Anora, but, you know, whatever.
God bless.
Did you like Anora?
I haven't seen it, no.
Whatever. I mean, people loved it, so I don't know. Who cares? I mean, I didn't really like any of the nominees, to be honest, but he's good. You know, you've seen Sean Baker stuff like Florida Project, anything like that?
No, I've never seen any of his stuff.
Oh, you'd like it.
I'm protesting for no reason, just out of caprice and idleness. I've chosen him as my enemy. Why? No reason. Anyway,
it's just so funny that would be like something you're not watching. You take in so much content. It's like, you should watch The Florida Project. I love that movie.
I don't think so. No, I will. I'll put it on my list. It's on my list, which is only 1,100 films long.
Yes, exactly. All right. Do we know what we're doing?
Yeah, we're going to talk about monetizing death in the form of Facebook. Yes. And in particular, we're also going to take a little trip down memory lane to a little show called Black Mirror. Mm-hmm. One of the most tech apocalypse shows ever that we have waited over 100 episodes to talk about.
And it's going to be paired with the meta story.
That's right.
So we'll be talking primarily about the series, but also the episode where you can capture the.
Yeah, we're just talking about that episode. I mean, I don't.
Right, but
I'm not watching anything else.
No, but we'll touch on
part of my protest, Michael.
The cultural phenomenon that was Black Mirror until
the cultural masterpiece
overtook it and rode away into the sunset or to the
atomic bomb cloud. All right,
I'm looking forward to that.
That'll be fun. And until then, if you like the show, you can follow us on the podcatcher of your choice. If you really like the show, you can leave us a rating and or review on that podcatcher. You can also follow us on Instagram at the End of the World WMS, where we post reels from the show. So, Black Mirror, meta, AI, death profiles, life after death. That'll be fun. Until then, this has been The End of the World, Michael and Stu.
I'm Michael.
And I'm Stu, and we'll talk to you real soon.